Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be diving into something I know a lot of you have been asking about, how quantum computing is going to completely change AI.
Yeah, it's really a hot topic right now.
For sure. And you guys sent in a ton of research and articles on this. So
A real gold mine.
yeah, and I got to say, even just skimming it, this stuff is really mind-bending. So get ready, because by the end of this deep dive, you're going to have a much better idea of what the future holds when these two fields, quantum and AI, collide.
Yeah, it feels like something straight out of science fiction.
Totally. Okay, so to kind of kick things off, we need to understand what makes quantum computers so special, right? Like, what's the deal with all this superposition and entanglement stuff?
Right, they almost sound like magic.
Yeah. Can you break it down for us, in a way that doesn't require a PhD in physics?
Okay, so imagine you have a normal computer bit, right? It can be either a 0 or a 1,
Got it.
but a qubit, which is like the quantum version of a bit, can be a 0, a 1, or both at the same time. That's superposition.
Whoa, wait. How is that even possible?
It's kind of like, think of a coin spinning in the air before it lands.
Okay, yeah.
It has the potential to be heads or tails.
Right.
So in a way, it's kind of both until it settles. And that's what gives quantum computers this crazy advantage. They can explore tons of possibilities all at once.
So they're like multitasking masters.
Exactly. And then you have entanglement, which is like even weirder.
Okay, hit me with it.
It's like an invisible connection between two qubits.
Uh-huh.
No matter how far apart they are, if you change one, the other one instantly changes too.
No way. Like they're telepathic or something.
Basically. So you can imagine how powerful this could be for computation.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. But how does all this, translate into real benefits for AI? What can these quantum computers actually do that our current systems can't?
Well, one of the biggest areas is machine learning. Right now, training these complex AI models can take forever.
Yeah, we're talking weeks, even months, right?
Yeah, it's a huge bottleneck. But some of the research you sent talks about quantum algorithms that could speed this up like crazy.
And one of those is QAOA, right? The quantum approximate optimization algorithm.
Yep, that's the one. It sounds complicated, but think of it like this.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to find the best route for a delivery truck to make a bunch of stops.
Okay, I'm following.
There are like a zillion possible routes, and a regular computer has to check each one individually.
Right.
But QAOA uses superposition to explore all those routes at the same time, so it finds the best one way faster.
Well, so it's not just brute force speed. It's like a completely different way of thinking about the problem.
Exactly. And this could be huge for things like logistics, finance, even drug discovery, anywhere you need to find the absolute best solution quickly.
So it's not just about making AI faster. It's about tackling problems that are, like, impossible for our current computers. Now, another thing that really caught my eye was quantum neural networks. It's like taking the concept of neural networks, which is already pretty wild, and just amping it up to a whole other level.
Totally. So classical neural networks are great at recognizing patterns, but they don't handle uncertainty very well.
Yeah, they need everything to be like black and white.
Right. But the real world is full of gray areas, full of maybes and what ifs. And that's where QNNs come in.
Okay. How so?
They use superposition and entanglement to basically embrace that uncertainty, to work with probabilities instead of absolutes. It's like giving AI intuition, the ability to make judgments based on incomplete information.
That's incredible. And it makes so much sense, because the human brain doesn't just deal with ones and zeros, right? There's a lot of nuance and intuition involved.
Exactly. So QNNs could lead to AI that's much more like us, more adaptable, and capable of making complex decisions.
Okay, now there's been a lot of buzz about room temperature quantum computers.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff you sent in really dives into this.
Yeah, that's a game changer if we can pull it off.
Right. Because right now, most of these quantum computers need to be kept super cold, like almost absolute zero.
Yeah, it's a huge pain and super expensive.
But if we could get them to work at room temperature, that would open up a whole new world of possibilities.
For sure. It would make quantum computing way more accessible, which would mean faster research, more investment, basically, a quantum boom.
And what about the qubits themselves? I saw something about organic qubits. What are those all about?
So basically, instead of using like exotic materials for qubits, we could use organic molecules, the stuff that makes up living things.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, and these molecules are way more stable at warmer temperatures.
Makes sense.
Plus, we can use molecular engineering to like custom design them for specific tasks.
So it's like building qubits that are tailor-made for AI.
Exactly. And it's crazy to think that the key to this cutting-edge technology might be found right here in nature.
Speaking of nature, some of this stuff about quantum biology is just wild. Like the idea that plants and animals might be using quantum mechanics all the time.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, take photosynthesis, for example.
Yeah, that's how plants turn sunlight into energy, right?
Right. And it turns out that the way they do that, the way they transfer energy, it's super efficient because it uses quantum effects.
So like plants are quantum physicists.
In a way, yeah. And there's also research into how birds use quantum entanglement to navigate using the Earth's magnetic field.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. And imagine if we could unlock the secrets of how they do that.
Right, like build super sensitive navigation systems based on quantum principle.
Exactly. And maybe even figure out how to build more stable qubits by learning from how biological systems manage to maintain quantum coherence in warm, noisy environments.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, we're at the beginning of something really huge. But we've covered a lot of ground already, and I think we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll delve even deeper into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in this whole quantum AI frontier.
Okay, so we've talked about all the amazing things that could happen when we merge quantum computing and AI,
Right. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
but we also need to be realistic, There are some serious challenges we have to overcome before this becomes like everyday technology.
Yeah, for sure. And the articles you sent, they don't shy away from those challenges.
Nope.
I mean, just building these quantum computers in the first place, that's got to be incredibly difficult.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about controlling individual atoms and photons.
Yeah, it's like science fiction.
And one of the biggest hurdles is scalability. Right now, the number of qubits we can actually control is pretty small.
So we need more qubit.
Way more. To really unlock the power of quantum computing for AI, we need systems with hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions of qubits all working together.
Wow, that's a tall order.
It is. And then there's noise and decoherence. Qubits are super sensitive, and the slightest disturbance can mess everything up.
It's like, what, they get distracted easily?
Kinda, yeah. Even tiny changes in temperature or electromagnetic fields can cause errors. It's like trying to build a house of cards in a windstorm.
Oh, I like that analogy.
So that's where quantum error correction comes in. Basically, we need ways to protect these qubits from all that noise.
And didn't we talk about how nature might have some answers there?
Exactly. Those biological systems we discussed, they've figured out how to maintain quantum coherence in like the messiness of the real world.
So we're basically trying to steal nature's secrets to build better quantum computers.
Pretty much. But even if we solve the hardware problem, there's still the software side of things. We need algorithms that are specifically designed to take advantage of these quantum properties.
Right, because regular algorithms won't cut it. Right.
Not really. We need quantum algorithms. And thankfully, there are some promising ones out there, like Rover's algorithm, for example.
Okay, remind me what that one does.
It's basically a super fast search algorithm. Imagine you have a giant database and you need to find a specific piece of information.
Okay.
Grover's algorithm can do that way faster than any classical algorithm. It's like having a magic Google search that instantly finds what you're looking for.
Wow, that sounds incredibly useful.
It is, and if we can apply that to machine learning, it could revolutionize how we analyze data and train AI models.
So we could potentially find patterns and insights that are just like hidden from us right now.
Exactly, but there was one article that made a really good point.
Oh yeah, what was that?
Even with these amazing quantum algorithms, it's unlikely that quantum computers will completely replace classical computers anytime soon.
So it's not like game over for our laptops and smartphones.
Not at all. It's more likely that we'll see hybrid systems where classical and quantum computers work together, each doing what they do best.
So like a tag team.
Exactly. Classical computers are still great at things like data pre-processing and high-level control, while the quantum processors handle the specific parts of a problem where they can really shine.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like use the right tool for the right job.
Exactly. But then we have another challenge. How do we connect these two very different types of computers?
Right, because they speak totally different languages, don't they?
Basically. We need to develop ways for them to communicate efficiently, to share data and instructions seamlessly. It's like building a bridge between two countries with completely different cultures and technologies.
Okay, so there are definitely some hurdles to overcome. But all the research you sent, it paints a pretty optimistic picture of the future.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're talking about a world where quantum AI could revolutionize medicine, material science, even our understanding of the universe.
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about specifically?
Well, imagine AI that can design personalized therapies based on your unique DNA or predict diseases before they even show up.
Wow, that would be incredible.
Right. And think about AI that can help us develop new materials with properties we can't even imagine right now. Things like room temperature superconductors or materials that are incredibly strong but super lightweight.
And what about using quantum AI to tackle things like climate change?
Absolutely. We could develop more accurate climate models, which would help us predict and mitigate the effects of climate change much more effectively.
It feels like there's no limit to what we could achieve.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it? But it's important to remember that every new technology comes with risks.
Right. There's always a flip side.
And one of the big concerns with quantum computing is cybersecurity. Quantum computers could potentially break the encryption methods that we rely on today.
Yeah, a lot of the articles brought that up.
It's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it could lead to incredibly powerful hacking tools. But on the other hand, quantum computing also gives us the ability to create new quantum-resistant encryption.
So it's like an arms race, but
Mhm.
for cryptography.
Exactly. And it really highlights the need for responsible development and ethical considerations as we move forward with both quantum computing and AI.
We have to make sure that these technologies are used for good, to benefit humanity and solve the problems we're facing.
Couldn't agree more. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have more to explore.
Right. So when we come back, we'll take a look at some specific examples of how quantum computing is already being used in AI research and development. Because this isn't just some far-off future, it's happening right now. All right, so we've talked about the potential, the challenges. Now let's see how this is all playing out in the real world. You know, you sent some fascinating stuff about how quantum computing is already being used in AI.
Yeah, it's not just theoretical anymore.
Right, like this is happening now. And some of these examples are seriously impressive.
Oh, absolutely. One area where we're seeing real progress is quantum-enhanced optimization.
Okay, and remind me what that means again.
So it's basically about finding the best solution to a problem, like the classic traveling salesman problem.
Oh yeah, where you have to find the shortest route between a bunch of cities.
Exactly. And that gets really hard for classical computers to solve, especially when you have a lot of cities.
Right, because the number of possible routes just explodes.
Exactly. But quantum algorithms can handle this kind of complexity way better. And there was that cool example from one of the articles, remember? Volkswagen used a quantum algorithm to optimize bus routes in Lisbon.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And what was interesting is that they didn't even have a full-blown quantum computer, did they?
Nope. They used a hybrid approach, combining a classical computer with a cloud-based quantum processor.
So they were able to get real-world results without having to build, like a massive quantum supercomputer.
Right. Which is really encouraging because it means we can start seeing the benefits of quantum computing now, even while the technology is still developing.
So instead of waiting for this, like, perfect quantum computer to arrive,
Yeah.
we can start integrating quantum processors into our existing systems and making things better.
Exactly. It's like a stepping stone approach.
I like that. So what other areas are showing promise? What else can we do with quantum AI right now?
Well, drug discovery is a big one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, simulating molecules is super complex, right?
Oh, yeah. It's incredibly computationally intensive. But quantum computers have the potential to do it way more accurately than classical computers ever could.
So we could potentially discover new drugs and therapies much faster.
Exactly. And one of the papers you sent talked about using quantum computers to design new catalysts for carbon capture, which is obviously huge for climate change.
Yeah, that was really fascinating. And it seems like this could go beyond just designing new molecules. Like, we could use quantum computers to optimize existing processes too, right?
For sure, like there's research on using quantum algorithms to improve the efficiency of solar cells.
So we could potentially make solar energy even cheaper and more accessible.
Exactly. It really feels like there's no limit to what we could do with quantum computing.
It's kind of mind-blowing, right? Like,
Yep.
it could impact every field imaginable, even art and music.
Oh, yeah, I saw an article about using quantum algorithms to compose new music.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And who knows, maybe quantum computing will even help us understand our own brains better.
Oh, you mean like how consciousness works and all that?
Exactly. If we can build AI that uses quantum mechanics, it might give us some insights into how our own minds operate.
That's a pretty deep thought.
Hmm.
But I think it speaks to just how profound this whole quantum revolution could be.
Absolutely. I mean, we're talking about a fundamental shift in how we understand and interact with the world.
So as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, what's the key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
I'd say this. The fusion of quantum computing and AI is still in its early stages, but the potential is truly revolutionary. We're on the cusp of a new era of technology, one that could reshape our world in ways we can't even fathom yet. So stay curious, keep asking those big questions, and be prepared for a future that's increasingly quantum.
I love that. It's a future full of possibilities and maybe even a little bit of magic. So thanks for joining us on this mind-blowing journey into the quantum AI frontier. We hope you found it as fascinating as we did. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the cutting edge of science and technology. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those brain cells firing.